we're going to welcome Darren up on the stage. So now, Darren, your heart is going to be part of a cow, part cow. So at some point, question mark, you're going to have to fill in the blanks, perhaps at the after party. And between then and now, please tell us your fuck up.
What's going on, fellow fuck-ups? Like being able to tell you guys something that would usually be insulting, but just being able to own it. What's up, fuck-ups? All right, good stuff. I feel like my first fuck-up is probably not practicing this presentation enough, so, bear with me. I'm Darren. I'm a 3-time college dropout. I still have 6 years of art school under my belt. And, that's really doing well for me. I'm really honored to be able to share the stage with these amazing presenters who's had some amazing careers. And I kind of feel I deserve, like you guys deserve something more than just waiting for the last presenter to be this art kid that really makes maybe a fraction. I won't even go into how little I make. But anyways, hey, so this is my first event. In my 3rd year of OCAD, before I dropped out, I decided that I didn't necessarily want to create art. I wanted to facilitate. I'm a small town kid. I grew up in the outskirts countryside of Milton, Ontario, which is huge now, but at the time it was 3,000 to 6,000 people. I was one out of the 3 black families that was in that town, and the other 2 were related to my family. So growing up, I was never really exposed to the diversity of people and no art whatsoever. So when I got right out of that town and went to OCAD, that was my world. So I immediately became surrounded by these talented individuals that were struggling like crazy. So I decided to start doing events. This is our first event. They're all pretty random. They usually focus on art exhibitions, music concerts, dancing, comedy shows, poetry readings. The locations were just as random as the actual events. So we would be in basements of retail stores, yoga studios, friends' apartments, abandoned warehouses, pretty much anywhere where we were either allowed or even sometimes not allowed to be, we would just pop up and do these really amazing creative nights that got a really good following. So much of a following that after a year of doing these events and somehow making a living off of coordinating art projects, I decided that a permanent location was in order. I was getting bigger clients, and OCAD decided to do a thesis show with us, which then kind of made me go towards a permanent location, which brought us to Creatures Creating, which was located at Queen and Bathurst. At this point, I'm 23. I have no idea what the hell I'm doing. I dropped out of 3 different art schools. I have no business experience aside from managing a few restaurants and retail stores. And you think, yeah, okay, this is his fuck up. He's gotten to the point of his fuck up. 23, let's go into a 3,000 square foot storefront on Queen West that costs $15,000 a month in overhead. This guy's an idiot. No fuck up. Believe it or not, we were actually really successful for the first few months. We were getting our identity. I still don't really know what my passion was, and it was really inspiring from Louis as well too, that I was just kind of put into this industry and kept on having to do things. People kept on booking, so I kept on paying the rent in order to facilitate a space for them to do these things. I was really just kind of doing what I was told to do to make a space for people to do their things. And I figured this would be something where I just keep on seeing myself doing, being able to facilitate these amazing individuals. And I don't know how familiar you guys are with Queen West, but at this point in 2010, Crate and Barrel 2 decided to open up at the corner west of us, 3 doors down. And then the very same time, Loblaws decided to open up their location a couple doors down east of us. So for a solid 3 months, I had no sidewalk. Brand new business. No one could actually come into my store, which nobody even knew what the hell Creatures Creating was, let alone try to remember what the hell this name is. And then we were coming into winter. I don't know if you guys remember 2010, but that was like the deadliest, coldest winter you could possibly imagine. And why the hell would you ever try to trek it out into the Toronto streets in the winter to a place that didn't even have a sidewalk to even let you in? So that 15,000 was really, really starting to weigh me down. So desperation was the biggest thing. I was reeking of it. It was bad, but I didn't know who I was. I didn't know what I was doing this for, but I had bookings for the next 4 months. So I kind of feel obligated to actually keep my doors open, keep on struggling with this ridiculously expensive space. So I decided, okay, 3,000 square feet, I'll sublet some of the portions of the space to anyone that would potentially say yes to getting in there. So I'm doing a really bad job of going through these slides. I partnered up with a lot of people. So initially I partnered up with a media company that did music videos, and everything vibed. It was great. I knew them somewhat, and their business kind of flowed in there. Again, small town kid, a lot of my relationships were made on a handshake, and that was really it, which is my fuck up. As Will initially said, with the legal documentation, I had nothing. The only documentation I had was with my landlord and my lease. I didn't have any agreements, any contracts, any invoices. These people were coming in, supposedly promising to pay rent at the end of the month and stick to their own space and do their thing. And I thought, okay, this is great. I could still keep on doing what I'm doing while also facilitating other people to have their businesses get exposure and succeed. Not the case. So my space is now starting to get manipulated and overtaken by this company. Just get shivers saying the name out loud, Norman Felix, which ended up just creeping in there. And at this point, at still 23, very naive, impressionable, and age is but a number, but experience counts for a load amount. So I think, okay, great. This is a person that is experienced in her field. I'm sure whatever she's doing is probably for the best of all of us. She's got my best intentions in mind. And no. And just the most ridiculous ideas and concepts coming in. So now my art gallery that did pop-up events and was helping out the community started doing a cafe with health smoothies and just horrible events. And if I had anyone, a life coach, a mentor, a guarantor, somebody that I just had a conversation with to say, hey, do you know this person whatsoever? 2 months after her coming into the business and into the space, I find out that she just finished being house arrest for being caught with $1.2 million of marijuana that she was transporting from her weed farm. She's also been convicted of several accounts of fraud. I'm stuck. I have $15,000 that I have to make sure that is paid every single month. So, sure, yeah, history is history. We're all good people. Keep on doing what you're doing. This won't bite me in the ass. No. So I, as initially invited up here and introduced, I do have heart problems. I was born with a heart defect that, I won't even get into the details, but I get my little ups and downs. So throughout working this business, I had to go away for weeks at a time to make sure that my heart doesn't calcify, inflame, and I don't die. I was gone for an entire week. I came back, and there was an entire bar that she had built in my space without my knowledge at all. And hey, look at me over there. Oh, wow, you built a bar? Oh, that's cool. Is it working? I'll bartend. Did you need help in my space that you're not paying any rent for? Sure. Completely taken advantage of. The dumbest thing, I didn't have any means of paperwork stating that this is what you do, this is what I do, this is our arrangements and our agreements. Let's stick to these papers. If we change this agreement, then we'll go forward into some kind of financial compensation or just change the terms. Not the case whatsoever. As you can see, my name's not even on here. After another 2 months of us trying to go back and forth, clenching onto space, I find out that she lied to the landlord and claimed that I did an event which actually attracted the police, neighbors were complaining, and drugs were on site. And she blamed me for another one of my week-gone episodes. I come back into the space, things are starting to change over. My best friend who started working with me is now working for her, tells me that I have a restraining order on my own property, that I can't even come back into my own space. I'm like, okay, well, that sucks. Again, really naive. Wow, geez, that's so strange because I was actually in the hospital for a week, but you guys are doing what you guys are doing. Best of luck. I'm so happy that you're still in this space. Good luck. So I actually take this as a silver lining. At this point, my passion was completely shot. I had no idea what the hell I was even doing, but I still had programming booked up for the entire summer. So I found another location a block north on Dundas and Bathurst that I was able to open up another space. $15,000, the first and last from this space was easily covered by 1 month rent from the other space. So I opened up a new location. Identity was refound. It was great. We knew what we were doing. We're doing things much cleaner. We had a great following. Norman Felix was still operating out of Queen and Bathurst for a year until they finally just got kicked out, because obviously. And I figured that I could just keep on doing what I'm doing without my demons from my past coming back to bite me in the ass. Not the case. After 4 years of operating out of this space, doing everything that defined who we were, the lease runs out and I decide, okay, I'm gonna start working abroad and kind of really rediscover, like, why am I doing this? Am I really enjoying just taking bookings and having a retail front space? I come back after working abroad a year to realizing that $13,000 has been automatically withdrawn from my banking account because Norman Felix apparently sent me a subpoena, which she fraudulently signed that I received, took me through small claims court for an entire 5-month process, and successfully won the court case, stating that I owed her $15,000 for a month rent at this location that I wasn't even at for 5 years. Continuing on the fuck up. No documentation, no agreements, no due diligence made whatsoever. So now I'm trying to fight. I'm back in the country. I'm at the court case. I'm saying that she lied. I have tickets proving that she forged the subpoena. Not enough. So now I have to prove that, her word over mine. Why am I not owing her this money, even though she's got paperwork claiming that I was there and paying this amount of rent and I screwed her with it, despite the fact that I won't even go into much. There's not enough time. That was my fuck up. $13,000 that automatically came out of my account. Small claims court now on my record stating that I lost a court case battle against Norman Felix, who has $7,000 of other people trying to sue her for fraudulent nature. All because I was not prepared to do any due diligence. I didn't have any kind of legal documentation made. I didn't have any lawyers at the time. No email conversations. Everything was made on a handshake and stating, yeah, I trust that this relationship is going to be in our best efforts. Thank God that has happened, I guess. Not really, but holy shit. Because now I'm able to continue on doing what I'm really passionate about. I now run art studio spaces with 35 tenants. Artists are able to produce their work, all based on our relationship of knowing what I'm going to be able to offer them and what they're expected to do as well too. Agreements, invoices, contracts, complete due diligence, and now, just as recently as this year, I'm also managing the big Bloor Festival, which sees 300 vendors, artists, musicians, businesses, all along a strip with obviously expectations that now, thankfully, I have the due diligence to be able to say, this is what you're gonna get, this is what we expect, and that is it. No one can take advantage of anyone. Thank you so much. I think you guys maybe like the third people I said this to, so.
Fucker. I have like indigestion because of you, Darren. Holy shit. Right, Dan? Fuck. Okay, I'm gonna let you guys stew on that for a minute. Talk to your friends. Sheena, Darren, I think we got some questions coming for you. I'm gonna give you 30 seconds, quick chats. What do you wanna talk about? What do you wanna get into? And we'll regroup. All right, have at it.